Here's your latest African news. Nigeria Armed Air Force denies paying bandits, accuses Wall Street Journal of fueling insecurity in Nigeria. The Nigerian Air Force has described a false newspaper report that it paid 20 million naira to some bandits in exchange for an anti-aircraft gun, earlier seized from troops. The Air Force say the report by the Wall Street Journal was part of a campaign to further the cause of insecurity in Nigeria by elements who see it as a threat following a series of successful exploits in operations against criminal gangs. The Wall Street Journal had published a report on Sunday stating that the Nigerian Air Force brokered the deal to secure a 12.7 caliber anti-aircraft gun as President Muhammadu Buhari was planning a trip to Katsina, his home state. The media outlets say the money was delivered to the bandits in Rugu Forest by an officer who leaked details of the operation anonymously, but in a statement on Sunday by its spokesperson Edward Kapkwete, the Nigerian Air Force said there was no iota of truth in the report, describing it as a spurious allegation designed to cast aspersions on the good image of the force. Cape Verde general elections underway. Voters in the island nation of Cape Verde cast their votes yesterday to elect the country's next president. The polls marked the end of the second and last mandate of Jorge Carlos Fonseca, the fourth president in Cape Verde's history since the country's independence from Portugal in 1975. A second round of voting is provisionally scheduled for October 31st if no single candidate receives a majority. This will be the seventh round of elections since Cape Verde's transition to free and multi-party elections in 1991. The 10-island archipelago off West Africa's coast is often praised as an exemplary democracy in the continent as it continues to rank high amongst indexes of transparency and political freedom. A record 7 candidates are running, but the strongest contenders are two former prime ministers, Carlos Vega, supported by the Movement for Democracy and the Democratic and Independent Cape Verdean Union, and José Maria Neves, running with support from the African Party for the Independence for Cape Verdean. Burkina Faso Pan-African Film Fest opens in Burkina Faso themed Resilient in Face of Challenges. The 27th edition of the Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou has been launched. The opening ceremony of the festival, known as the largest film festival on the continent, took place on Saturday at the Palais des Sports in the capital of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. It had in attendance Burkinabe and President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore. The theme this year was understanding the difficulties, constraints, and prospects of African cinema. Until the announcements of the winners on October 23rd, the film screening will take place in various theaters in Ouagadougou, including the 1,066-seated Niwea Cinema. But screening will also take place in 10 open-air spaces, including one step-up at the Place de la Nation, one of the largest in the city. Zimbabwe. No pay for unvaccinated civil servants in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe will not allow unvaccinated government employees to access their offices following the lapse of compulsory COVID-19 vaccination deadline on Friday, a circular showed. The Southern African country was among the first on the continent to vaccinate against COVID-19, but only less than 2.5 million people out of its population of 15 million people have been fully vaccinated. On September 14th, civil servants were given a month to comply with directives to get vaccinated. In a circular dated October 14th, Health and Childcare Permanent Secretary Jasper Chimenza said those barred from work will not get paid. The Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, the country's main labor body, last month took the government to court challenging the compulsory vaccination drive. ZCTU says the directive infringes on workers' rights and must be scrapped. The case is yet to be heard after the High Court dismissed an application by the labor body for it to be handled on an urgent basis. Ivory Coast. Former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo elected leader of new party. The former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo on Sunday launched a new political party, the African People's Party Congress (PPACI), which marked his return to the forefront of the political scene after 10 years of absence. Gbagbo was elected the leader of the PPACI by some 1,600 delegates on Saturday night as he seeks to reunite the left and use the occasion as a springboard to the 2025 presidential elections. The political representatives from a dozen African countries attended this weekend's Congress. For his supporters, it is a new beginning for social cohesion in Côte d'Ivoire. The 76-year-old, whose 2000 to 2011 rule was marked by turbulence and division in the world's biggest cocoa producers, has been highly visible visible since returning. He was removed from office in April 2011 after a short civil war that claimed 3,000 lives, sparked by his refusal to accept electoral defeat by the current president Alassane Ouattara. Gbagbo was then flown to the International Criminal Court in The Hague to face charges of crimes against humanity resulting from the conflict, but was eventually acquitted. Ethiopia and South Africa. Ethiopian Airlines adds interlining with South Africa's Airlink. In what will be great news for people living in South Africa, the continent of Africa's biggest airline has said that it has signed an interline agreement with Johannesburg-based Airlink. In a statement issued on October 14, 2021, Ethiopian Airlines says that its contract with Airlink will allow passengers seamless travel on a single ticket on any of the two carriers' networks. With the interline agreement now in place between Ethiopian Airlines and Airlink, passengers in South Africa can easily book their itineraries on both airlines. Based in Addis Ababa Bole International Airport (ADD), Ethiopian Airlines is the world's fourth largest airline by the number of countries served. Airlink, meanwhile, is the second largest carrier within Africa by the number of flights and thirdest largest by the number of seats. Nigeria. 1 year anniversary of #EndSARS protest movement. It has been 1 year since a young-led mass protest movement against a hated police unit, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS), spilled over into wider anger and calls for better governance in Nigeria. The anger turned into mass protest and unrest and ended abruptly after the deadly shooting of unarmed protesters on October 20th in Lagos Lekki tollgate. At least 12 persons were killed there according to rights group Amnesty International, a claim that has been disputed by local authorities. Organizers have been mobilizing online for protests to coincide with the Lekki tollgate shooting, but police authorities in Lagos, Abuja, and other states have been issuing warnings against the anniversary protest, asking them to halt the plan. SARS, or the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, has for decades been a notorious unit of Nigeria's police force accused of unlawful arrests, profiling, torture, and even extrajudicial killings. President Muhammadu Buhari on October 12, 2020, disbanded the unit, but the reports of police abuse have not stopped in the West African nation. Thanks for watching. Visit our YouTube channel Tunacheki to watch our daily news reports and our website tunacheki.tv for all the latest news updates. Also, don't forget to catch our new show Startup Africa every Thursday on our channel. You can directly support this new series by becoming our YouTube member or becoming a Patreon. And remember, Africa is watching.